What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa D18 Studios channel. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade JJ Williams, and we're going to keep going through our homage to classic horror movies. Going to discuss the third silent film for the beginning era here, and we're going to discuss the first of two films starring Lon Chaney Sr., and that is 1923's The Hunchback of Notre Dame, starring Lon Chaney, Patsy Ruth Miller, Norman Carey, Kate Lester, Ernest Torrance, Tully Marshall, and Brandon Hurst. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here once again for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. And like I said during the introduction, we're going to keep going through the silent film era of our homage to classic horror films. Going to discuss the third out of four silent films today, and the first of two that star the legendary Man of a Thousand Faces, Lon Chaney Sr. And today's film, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, it's an amazing masterpiece to behold. But before we get into that, let's get into the meat and the potatoes of the story here, shall we? Now, our movie is set in Paris, France, in the year 1482. And we meet Quasimodo, who is a deaf, half-blind, hunchbacked bell ringer of the famous Cathedral of Notre Dame. Quasimodo's master is a man named Jehan, who's the evil brother of Notre Dame's saintly archdeacon, Dom Claude. One night, Jehan tells Quasimodo to kidnap the fair Esmeralda, a dancing gypsy girl who is the adopted daughter of Clopin, the king of the oppressed beggars of the Paris underworld. The dashing Captain Phoebus rescues Esmeralda from Quasimodo, while Jehan abandons him and flees. Now, at first, seeking a casual romance, Phoebus becomes entranced by Esmeralda and takes her under his wing. Quasimodo is sentenced to be lashed in the public square before Esmeralda and Dom Claude come to his aid. Much to their dismay, Jehan and Clopin learn that Phoebus hopes to marry Esmeralda, despite the fact that he is engaged to Fleur-de-Lis. Phoebus persuades Esmeralda to accompany him to a ball celebrating his appointment as the captain of the guard by King Louis XI. Phoebus provides Esmeralda with rich garments and introduces her to their hostess, Madame de Gondelier, as a princess of Egypt. Clopin crashes the festivities, accompanied by his beggars, and demands that Esmeralda be returned. So in order to avoid bloodshed, Esmeralda says that she does not belong there with the aristocrats. Later, however, Esmeralda sends the street poet, Pierre Gringory, to give Phoebus a note, arranging a rendezvous at Notre Dame to say goodbye to him. Phoebus arrives and is stabbed in the back by Jehan. After Esmeralda is falsely sentenced to death for the crime, she is rescued from the gallows by Quasimodo and carried inside the cathedral, where he and Dom Claude grant her sanctuary. Later that night, Clopin leads the whole of the underworld to storm the cathedral, and Jehan attempts to take Esmeralda, first by deceit, by telling her that Phoebus's dying wish is for him to take care of her, and then, when that doesn't work, by force. Quasimodo holds off the invaders with rocks and torrents of molten lead. Meanwhile, the healed Phoebus is alerted by Gringory and leads his men against the rebel. When Quasimodo finds Jehan attacking Esmeralda, he throws his former master off the ramparts of Notre Dame, but not before Jehan fatally stabs him 3 times in the back. Phoebus finds and embraces Esmeralda, And our movie ends with Quasimodo ringing his own death toll, and Grigori and Dom Claude entering the bell tower just in time to see Quasimodo die. The last image we see is the great bell swinging silently above Quasimodo's corpse. Like I said, this film is just visually stunning. The acting is superb in this. Yeah, there's a little bit of overdramatics like we talked about the last 2 days with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and Nosferatu, but not near as much. Chaney and his faces and his makeup, all of which he did predominantly on his own, by the way. You know, so intricate and beautifully done in their disgustingness. He was always playing a heel or a villain of some kind. So he was always making himself look deformed, disgusting, hideous. But in that hideousness, there lies an aura of beauty in the way he was able to come up with his makeup on his own every time. It's why he was labeled the man of 1,000 faces. But you look at the Hunchback of Notre Dame here, and then you look at something like the Disney version, and you look at what Quasimodo looks like there. You know, here he's deaf, half blind. He can hear, he can see fine there. Another major difference is the role of Jihan is what you guys would probably know as Judge Claude Frollo. It's the same character, just a different name. But again, I implore you guys, if you have never seen Lon Chaney's Hunchback of Notre Dame, search it out. It's on YouTube. Find it, watch it, sit through it, pay attention to it, because silent films you can't multitask on. You've got to focus on them. But it's so beautiful and well done, and the story flows so good. I can't sing the praises of this film enough. Bottom line, when it comes to Hunchback. Now, when it comes to my rating, you guys know I've been doing about a 3-star rating for these films. I'm trying to make that the bar. Unfortunately, Lon Chaney's Hunchback exceeds the bar. Now, I'm still not going 5, but I'm giving Lon Chaney's Hunchback of Notre Dame 4 out of 5 stars. That is how much I adore this film. That is how well I feel it is done in its cinematography, in its acting, in its music, in its version of the story, like all the technical specs that you would want to hit for a 1923 film. Let's keep that in perspective. This movie is almost 100 years old, and it's so beautifully done. I cannot say enough positive things about The Hunchback, and I can't really think of anything negative about The Hunchback. What do you guys think out there? Those of you that have seen Lon Chaney's The Hunchback of Notre Dame, let me know what you think. If you're watching the premiere, leave those thoughts and comments over here. If you're watching on demand later in the day, leave your thoughts and comments down here. If you need to go and watch the film to see what I'm talking about, by all means, please come back to me and leave those comments down here, guys. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say about these films once you've seen them. Whatever you do, though, when you get out there on the social media, let's try to get those hashtags trending. Hashtag Casa D18 Studios, hashtag Renegades Reviews, hashtag Renegade Returns, and of course, the ever popular hashtag Shenanigans. We interrupt this episode of Renegades Reviews for an important announcement about
Merchandising.
Merchandising? What's that?
Merchandising. Come, I'll show you. Merchandising, merchandising, where the real money's made.
Make sure you go over to teespring.com/stores/Jeff Meacham Network for all the t-shirts you see here from the West Coast professor, Jeff Meacham himself. You can get shirts for the Jeff Meacham Network, Talk Wrestling, as well as the red and gold Meachamania shirts. And while you're there, don't forget to get your shirts of the Casa D18 Studios Brotherhood, the Dads on Wrestling shirt, the Renegade J.J. Williams, Statboy Sports Bar, and the hashtag StatBoyApproved shirt. Make sure you go over to teespring.com/stores/Jeff Meacham Network and score your shirts today. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow, right back here on the Casa D18 Studios channel for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews when we finish up the silent film era of these classic horror films and we take a look at 1925's The Phantom of the Opera, starring Lon Chaney Sr., Mary Philbin, Norman Carey, Arthur Edmund Carew, Gibson Gowland, John St. Polis, Virginia Pearson, and Snitz Edwards. You're not going to want to miss out tomorrow. Right back here on the Casa D18 Studios channel. Right back here on an all-new Renegades Reviews when we take a look at The Phantom of the Opera. It's definitely going to be a good one you're not going to want to miss out on. To all my loyal fans and viewers out there tuning in for the premiere, leaving your thoughts and comments over here, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you guys. Likewise, all my loyal fans and viewers out there tuning in a little bit later in the day, watching on demand, leaving your thoughts and comments down here. Thank you very much. I appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate all my loyal fans and viewers out there that have been tuning in during the day, showing me that love, showing me that support, going back, rewatching old episodes to try to help boost my viewership hours up so I can eventually get monetized, make some money off this endeavor. Thank you very much to each and every one of you for tuning in and joining me today, and I will see you guys next time.